I hope that audience members from my piece will first of all see some brutal honesty. I'm going to assume that anyone who is coming at things from my side, who maybe was raised in a very traditional straight environment, will probably be able to relate to a lot of what I'm saying about how I've had some bigoted views and how I've had some thoughts that I'm not very proud of. I hope the audience will see that as something that a lot of people go through, but that can be corrected and can be grown out of.
I'm here tonight as an ally, and it's a tremendous honor to even be invited into this circle. But if I'm honest with myself, I also have to admit that for most of my life, there aren't too many people who would have referred to me as an ally. For most of my life, I've been someone very different. I was raised in an atmosphere of traditional masculinity. We camped, we fished, we hunted, we chopped wood. My grandfathers were veterans of multiple wars. One uncle flew choppers in Nam, another was a West Point grad. My father was an Army veteran himself. So, from my perspective, gay didn't really exist in our family. First of all, we all had military ties, and there weren't any gay people in the military, right? And we were a Midwest family. Gay was for New York. Gay was for LA or Paris. There weren't any gay people in Grand Rapids, Michigan, right? As I grew up, I acquired all of the traditional gay hate speech. Hell, the word faggot practically rolled off my tongue with all the sophistication of a French slur. Amongst my friends, there was no greater pejorative than to even imply that a man might be gay. In my definition of lesbian, no. Let me say that honestly, as I would have said it then. My definition of dyke was any woman that wouldn't sleep with me. Because, of course, if a woman doesn't want to get with all of this, she must obviously be gay, right? While I was still clinging to my Protestant upbringing, I parroted the phrase, hate the sin, but love the sinner. Yeah, I said that a lot. I rationalized my LGBT beliefs by deploying my own personal don't ask, don't tell policy. I don't care what anyone does in the privacy of their own home, just as long as I don't have to be confronted with it in any way. Yeah, I said that a lot. I told my uncle, my gay uncle, that marriage is an artificial institution created by society. So there's no point in fighting society because society ultimately defines that union. Yeah, I said that a lot. So, in hindsight, there's really no way to sugarcoat this. I was a bigot. So what happened? How did I come to be here? Did I have some grand awakening, a spiritual epiphany? No. I'd like to say that I cured my ignorance with wisdom and quiet introspection. But the simple fact is that it was harder to maintain that ignorance when I wasn't aiming it at an acronym, but rather at living, breathing people. I'm incredibly close with my Uncle Patrick. And when he came out, he was at that time the only gay person that I knew. Now I couldn't bring myself to shun my uncle. So did that open my eyes? Well, not really. Quite frankly, I tended to hold him off to the side as an exception. You know, an acceptable gay. When I moved to Las Vegas, I met a great friend, Kevin, who was ostracized from his Jehovah's Witness family because he was unapologetically gay. And for the first time, I witnessed with my own eyes some of the prejudice that is routinely aimed at the LGBT community. And in this one new friend, my universe of gay people that I actually cared about had effectively doubled. But from that point forward, I had to begin asking myself, would I apply these same judgments to my friend Kevin, or for that matter, to my uncle Kevin, or my uncle Patrick? Slowly, my views had evolved as I was forced to apply them to an ever greater number of real people. Tina, you've been an enthusiastic and supportive friend, but I would completely understand if you were fired from your job for being a lesbian. Wait, what? Mike, thank you for inviting us to your birthday party. We had a great time, but you and Jeff never should have had the right to get married. That doesn't sound right. Taryn, you're an amazing poet, and I'd love it if you perform at my next show, but gay people like yourself should never be allowed to adopt children. No, that doesn't sound right at all. Now let me be clear. I can cling to a hateful thought with the best of them. But I'd like to think that eventually, if the evidence continues to mount against me, I will somehow acknowledge reason. Because I don't want to be the last straight bigot screaming from the antiquated religious halls of my forefathers, especially when I no longer subscribe to those religious views myself. So here I am. I've arrived. I finally get it. I've evolved into a self-actualized ally who's learned to empathize with all of the struggles inherent in the LGBT community. Right? No. There's still much about the LGBT experience that I don't understand. We'll never understand. And that's okay. But I am trying. I don't know if I can check off all of the boxes required to be an ally, but I am actively striving to be better. Because I don't much care for the man that I was 10 years ago. And I sincerely hope that 10 years from now, I won't much like the man I am today. So, when you're confronted with the next First Baptist holier-than-thou asshole, please try to remember that I was that guy. And to some extent, I'm still that guy. And although it doesn't often seem like it, people can change. I know they can, because I have.